Let's see. What to do, everybody? It's your boy LG from Where There's Smoke. I'm back with another stream. Kind of going with the flow of, I've been saying it for months and months. I say it every time I start a stream. I want to be more consistent with the streams and get more out to y'all. So here we go, putting the plan in action, hopefully, and starting to build up some momentum with that. Um, Let me go ahead and check the audio, video on Rumble, YouTube, Kick. Those are the three options if you want to check us out. And then we'll get into it. Y'all give me about a minute and we'll get into the topics. I appreciate anyone for tuning in, and let's get it. Kick, check, check. Kick, check, check. All right, kick's good. Kick, check, check. Rumble's good. Kick, check, check. All right, YouTube's good. Cool. And all right, cool. Everything's good. Let me pull up all the stories I have for us today. I need to. Yeah, I need to kind of um, organize my OBS a little better. What I was trying to say. Definitely, I need to make everything scenes. That way I can just click, click, click. I don't have to get everything back going. But there we go. Okay. This is not really related to one of the main topics, but a short little short. And Big Brother's kind of my guilty pleasure reality low level TV show that I watch. And now that it's over, I've also kind of Survivor. I'm not as into, but I'll kind of watch Survivor here and there. But Big Brother's my main thing. But you know, Big Brother just ended. Survivor picked up, so I'm kind of watching that to fill the void. And it's also something I'm fairly familiar with and also enjoy. Big Brother's my number one, but also Survivor. So here's a little video. If you follow Survivor, you've known over the past probably a little over 5 years, probably more closer to 10. I don't follow it as close as other people, but I know Survivor has gone woke over the past 5 to 10 years. Jeff had the whole guys thing where he didn't want to say "Come on in, guys." He wanted to say "Come on in, guys and girls," or "Come on in, everybody," or whatever. He doesn't want to. He went woke. So here's him kind of defending that, and then I'll kind of give my opinion.
People have criticized, like,
Hold on, there we go.
people have criticized, like, we're too woke. Like, you should never do that. And I said, well, I don't know. I have two kids. I have a boy and a girl. And had I said 20 years ago, come on in, ladies, everybody would have thought that was weird. I want my daughter to know if you think that's a weird word, gender wise, I got you. I don't want to be that guy, that person, that guy.
I do. It's like, don't you want to be like standing up for like, I don't know. Guys has always been a gender neutral thing. Just like in Spanish, they have words that are masculine, but when it's used as a plural, it encompasses everyone. Like in Spanish, if a word ends with O, it's usually masculine. If it ends with A, it's usually feminine. And they have the same words that have that one little difference to annotate masculine or feminine. Like hermana, probably said that terribly, is like sister, and hermano is brother. But if you say hermanos, it means siblings, even though that some people would say that means only brothers, but it's like the masculine is the all encompassing. And some people might take that the wrong way or get butthurt. I think that's just a fact of tradition. And I also think because men traditionally have been the leaders, and that's a whole argument to have, especially in this time. But I think men are supposed to be the leaders. I think that kind of mirrors that, and I think it's been a thing for so long. We're trying to change it because people are getting their feelings hurt, but I feel like they just dreamt that shit up. In the 2000s, no one gave a fuck if you said guys. No, like no one cared because we were more wholesome. We had things going on. I think this is something I also wanted to talk about just a little bit. I'll let this finish and then I'll talk about what this brought to my mind. I want to talk about God, but I feel like people were closer to God. They were more humble. we had more just humility, and I just think there's a lot of things better going on to where if someone said, "Hey guys," like why would you take offense to that? They're not trying to do anything. Like there's no ill intent behind it. So let me finish this up, give some more commentary, and then I'll get into a little thing I want to say about God, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of this podcast or stream.
But what somebody pointed out to me was the mistake I made was I made it a moment. And in that way, I made it about me.
Yeah, you made it a moment. You made it about you, but it's also just a lame thing. We don't need to just because someone cries, the greasy wheel doesn't need to get oiled. Like there's a whole saying, the greasy wheel can get oiled or the greasy wheel can get replaced or whatever the saying is, but it's I don't think we need to cater to all these victims. Victim has been a huge thing over the past, I would say 10 years of victim mentality, and people who cry the loudest get action behind them and they tend to get their way, or people tend to bend to kind of um give them their way or just cave into them or however you want to put it. But I don't think that's good. I don't think we need to be in a state where the people who cry the loudest are the people that we shape society around and change around. So, do we really want to have victim mindset and people that are victims running our society and our lives? Like, we really need to stop and think about that. Um, and again, I think it's just going back to this thing of in the 90s and in the 2000s when we were a lot more grounded. I would say, even if people wouldn't explicitly say that this themselves, as a society and as a people, we were closer to God, we were closer to what's real and natural, and people just weren't tripping about that. They had shit going on. People had more to worry about, and that sounds like a negative thing, like worry about, but people had more good shit going on in their lives. They had more shit, like, I don't even know how to put it. I think closer to God is the best way to put it, even though that's like oversimplifying it. But we weren't worried about being the victims. No one was analyzing everything you said to see if that applied to them. Were you trying to attack me? Was that like a thing? People just like blow it off if they knew your intent wasn't bad. Now there's exceptions, but I think by and large, we weren't in the 2000s and the 90s trying to be victims and trying to get butthurt by everything. So, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with hey guys. Like it's anyway. I compared it to the Hispanic thing with hermanos and the OA on the masculine feminine words. So I think it just got blown out of proportion, and do sometimes are sometimes the things that we have traditions and things of the past wrong and we need to change them and update them. Yes, for sure. I don't think this is one of them. It comes from the whole woke thing, and like you know, clearly there was things in the past that were terrible that we need to lose, and we need to get with the times, and we need to realize that wasn't a good thing. It was just, but I just feel like that's not one of them. So I feel like I'm trying to, um, I almost need like a little pushback from someone else so I can have like an actual like conversation and work my way through this topic, which I usually am somewhat decent at, but this one I'm having a little bit of trouble. But I think I kind of voiced what I said, what I was trying to get out. We don't need to really shape our society around victims, and sometimes we do need to change when we're wrong. And things like obviously slavery and like the Jim Crow stuff, racist stuff was like trash. We needed to lose that. Great, I'm with that 100 million%. But when it comes to stuff like hey guys and all these gender terms and where there's 80 genders or whatever the fuck, it's like no, enough. So I think I said what I had to say. Maybe could have said a little more succinct, as always. But anyway, I just like I said, Big Brother's over. Kind of watching Survivor. Some of this kind of stuff has come up on my feed, even though this is a few years old. So I thought I'd just address it, kind of poke a little fun. And he's like, I don't want to be that guy. It's like I kind of do want to be that guy. I want to be the guy who's not just gonna go with every woke little loser thing, and who's gonna stand up for what's right and have some critical thinking, and not just be a little punk bitch. So overall, I like Jeff for the host, but I think I would have to agree with Russell Hantz that he's kind of gone down over the past 5 to 10 years, and it's kind of sad. So anyway, that's my spent longer on that than I wanted to. The whole thing on God, I might think of this. I had a real like a kind of a good succinct thought on it before I started the stream, but I just kind of wanted to say this is not related to like any topic on the channel or anything that I'm talking about on the stream. It's just kind of something that's been prevalent in my life recently, so I want to take the chance to share with y'all. I don't want to spend too long on it. I don't want to get too preachy or cheesy or faggy. But I just want to say, God has been working in my life, I feel like. And I feel like I never would have said that years ago, even a year or two ago, especially publicly. Um, but it's interesting when you're open to it, you want to be on the side of truth and love and what's righteous. And when you make a step towards that and you lower your guard to that and you embrace it, it's amazing what can happen and small changes start happening. And I think even if you're an atheist and you say there's no God, I think you would agree that having a positive attitude, wanting to be on the side of love, truth, righteousness, and moving in that direction and being open to it and letting your guard down to that stuff is positive. And I've noticed a positive effect on my life recently. Even things that are like unexplainable and seem a little too coincidental have been happening. So it's interesting. And like I told my brother Duncan a couple weeks ago when I was having somewhat of a conversation, we were having a big conversation, but this point kind of came up. You can have experiences to you that mean something and it's a coincidence or it's special or certain things line up and you see something and you see something else and you're like, oh wow, that was a connection. Just because it was special and important and a connection to you and it clicked in your mind and with your soul at that moment doesn't mean when you tell it to someone else it's gonna click to them or be as special to them, because it won't be. And I think that's part of the whole thing with everyone's spiritual journey. Everyone's on at different points, everyone's on different paths. So you could say, oh, the other day this crazy thing happened to me where I saw this and then I saw that and it linked and it made sense and it did something to me. And to another person, that's gonna mean nothing. So I don't know what I'm trying to say. I guess what I'm trying to say is like each person's spiritual journey or journey to connect to God, it can be helped and aided by others, but some of it has to be an internal thing. And someone could tell you things all day, but if you're not making that move and you're not experiencing it and it's not happening for you, all the things someone else says is not going to matter. But I will just say I would encourage anyone to stay open to that. If there is someone that created all of us and that loved all of us and is on the side of truth and what's righteous, wouldn't you want to be aligned with that? So just a thought, maybe not. Um, just my thoughts on it. I had kind of had that thought just popped in my head before the stream due to some stuff that's been happening to me. Nothing major. Like the other day, I'll provide the thing just to show proof to thing that something can happen to you and it doesn't matter. The other day I was at Whataburger and I haven't been to Whataburger in a while, but I was at Whataburger and I actually went for lunch one day because I was kind of at rush, and then the next morning I usually skip breakfasts. I usually skip I usually skip breakfast, but I had lunch at Whataburger. I got the number 23 on the little tent for your number. The next day I went for breakfast because I was like I'm hungry. Um, I've been having I have had anyway. I've had stomach issues for a while, but I was thinking, okay, I've been skipping breakfast for a long time. What if that's contributing to my stomach issues? I'm just gonna go get a quick little breakfast from Whataburger so I have something in my stomach. When I went to get breakfast, I got the number 45. And I was like, I go to Whataburger back to back, and I haven't been in like a month or two, so I don't go there that often. And I get the number 23 and then 45, which if you know basketball, that's like Jordan numbers. So like, what's going on here? This is like a little too coincidental. I mean, it's maybe just a coincidence, but I was like, something's going on here. Anyway, to someone else, they're like, that's stupid. That doesn't mean anything. You're just a retard. And I don't even know what it means to me, but it means something at this point to me. So anyway, I probably babbled there at the end, but I hope you could take something from what I said. And I think the biggest thing is if you want to be a good person, which I think most people do, and you want to be doing things that are good and have a good impact, don't be closed off to God. That's kind of what I would say and my advice. But I know you can get real preachy real quick and it cannot be effective. So I'm going to move on and we're going to get back into the normal topics of the weather smoke. But I just want to say that. And, you know, yeah, stay open to it is what I would say. All right, let's get into this Theo stuff. Let me see if anyone's in the comments real quick. No? All right, y'all don't hesitate. I know maybe I've been there. Not everyone wants to make themselves known online. And, you might not want to get in the chat and have people criticizing your opinion or your point of view. So I understand that. But if you don't care about that, get in the chat. Let me know what you think about the topics we're going to be discussing coming up, or even about the two little things I talked about already. And I would love to hear y'all's opinions if it's in the live chat or the rebroadcast. But let's get into the main topics. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, and let's get it. So if you don't know, Theo Von had some trouble recently. I think it's 2 or 3 days ago. And if you kind of follow him a little bit, which I kind of do, uh, he has shown that he struggles sometimes with his mental health and maybe a little depressed sometimes and kind of going through it, which everyone goes through tough times and stuff sometimes. And let's just kind of see the most recent events in that thing, with that timeline, and I'll kind of give my thoughts on it. Let's play this video, and yeah.
I'd love to talk a little bit about shame, man, because that was a huge part of my life.
Well, tell me about it.
I don't know what to tell you about that, man. I'm having a long.
So he had a taping at the Beacon, which I don't know what that is, but he had a Netflix special taping, and this was kind of him at the very end of it when everyone got their phones back and everyone was about to leave. This was him kind of leaving the thing and kind of telling everyone he was sorry for bombing and whatever.
I don't know what to tell you about that, man. I'm having a long month. I'm trying not to take my own life, so I just want to get these photos.
I'd love to talk a little bit about shame, man, because that was a huge part of my life.
Well, tell me about it.
I just felt ashamed of myself.
Yeah.
I felt ashamed of I felt ashamed of how I looked. I felt ashamed of like my ears, my nose, my face, the way I stood. I felt, I felt ashamed of my family, of my home. Everything. I just felt a ton of it. I'm not whining about it right now. I'm just thinking back, but yeah, I just felt a ton of shame. You know, I think I felt ashamed of who I was at like the first molecule almost, like the first cell of my, the dirt under the roots. It felt like there was a part of me that felt like I was me, or anything that had to do with me was gross.
On the evening of September 27, 2025, Theo Von took the stage at New York's Beacon Theater to tape his upcoming Netflix special. What should have been a celebratory moment in his career quickly became a source of concern among fans and observers as reports and clips from the night spread across social media. By most online accounts, the set did not go well. Audience members described sparse laughter, awkward pacing, and stretches where the energy in the room seemed to collapse. Several attendees reportedly walked out before the show ended. The atmosphere came to a head in one widely shared clip.
Let's read some of these tweets real quick.
Awkward pacing and stretches where the energy in the room seemed to collapse.
Theo Von interrupted his own set something like 10 times last night, either to disappear backstage for 30 seconds or to ask a producer the punchline to his own joke. He was exhausted, anxious, and clearly under the influence. It took him 6 tries to get through one antidote. Wow. Didn't I go see him not long ago? Yeah. He wasn't the most funny comedian I've ever seen, and I feel like comedians are just not on top of their game. Well, to be fair, I haven't been seeing probably top-notch comedians. I feel like comedy's not what it once was. I feel like I feel like a lot. Shout out to Kill Tony. I feel like they're kind of bringing it back and getting more ruthless and like the bare bones of what comedy really is. I feel like a lot of comedians are just kind of like getting by. Saying that all to say, I saw Theo and I feel like he was more like less of jokes and more of anecdotes and like stories and like life stuff. And it was funny, but it wasn't like hard-hitting joke. It was just like, which he has his own style. That's cool for him, but it's not necessarily my type of comedy. And, I like people that take risk and hardcore joke, or like, really, really try to go for the shot, the kind of, nothing's off limits, hardcore, funny. Like, there's a lot of different ways to be funny, but I like comedians that don't mind going like over the line to try to, be funny. I'd rather have that than just the average comedian. And like I said, no shots at Theo, but the whole stories thing, it was funny, it was cool, but I want somebody who's gonna be like ruthless, like a Hinchcliffe, or not that he's a top notch, but that style of comedy. So anyway,
several attendees reportedly walked out before.
But I like Theo. And I think this is gonna be said. I don't know if I'm not gonna watch the video that said that. But I watched the Godfrey podcast. Shout out to him if you want to go check him out. But he was talking about how Theo's more of a podcaster, and that's more of a format that fits him, where he can talk it out. He can have people call in. He can have guests on. He can get his stories out. I think that's the format and the niche that really is more for him than for comedy, where you're up on stage, you're in front of hundreds of people, the pressure's on for you to be funny right then. And if you're dealing with anxiety and pressure and all this stuff, and you're not finely tuned, sharpened skill machine, maybe that's not the best format for you. But
The show ended. The atmosphere came to a head in one widely shared clip in which Theo, looking disheveled, muttered, "I've tried not to take my own life," as people filtered toward the exits. For many who saw the video, it was a deeply unsettling moment that blurred the line between failed joke and personal confession. The context of Theo Von's career and life made this incident resonate more strongly. He has spoken openly for years about his struggles with mental health, his battles with addiction, and his efforts to remain sober. Those admissions, often framed with dark humor, have been a central part of his podcast.
See, yeah. So if you kind of follow him, like this guy's saying, he's been kind of letting you know that he's been battling with stuff throughout. And I just wonder if, social media, being famous, and then lately when he's interviewing people like JD Vance and Trump, which someone pointed out and I had forgotten, maybe all this is like too much for like most people. Social media we know is not healthy. Being famous we know is not fucking healthy. Interviewing Trump and Vance and maybe people criticizing that, or you feeling like there's a bigger weight on your shoulders because of that, or maybe you feel like you have a huge influence that you didn't use correctly. Like there could be a lot of pressure from interviewing the president and the vice president, and a lot of people might not have liked that. So there could be a lot of things weighing heavy on his shoulders, and I don't think being a celebrity, I don't know if social media, but I don't think being a celebrity is helping Theo work through these problems. So, for your motives, and even if they don't, it's hard not to feel that way with Theo. If everyone you know is famous and everyone that your friend is famous, it's like, do I have anybody that just loves me as a friend for me? Like, do I have anyone that just wants to hang out and go shoot hoops or go smoke or go tube the river or whatever the fuck Theo does? Go golfing or just go fucking to McDonald's? Does anyone want to do that just because they like Theo and not because... Even if they do, are you able to feel that way because of all this stuff that I was mentioning?
When else spoke to me the way that I speak to myself, I'd have to kill that son of a bitch because, I couldn't tolerate that. I don't know why we're just so mean to ourselves, man. I don't know why I get so addicted to things. I'm even addicted to damn nasal spray. That's about the hardest thing I've had to kick, to be honest with you.
Man, I appreciate your honesty here. Yeah, look, I had a non-addictive nasal spray that I had for a while that sometimes I'd pull up if I was going to a bar or something, I'd do a hit in each nose before I go in. It didn't even do anything to me. It gave me a little bit of a flashback of probably doing a drug or something, and just kind of heighten my senses in a weird way but yeah, man, I'm sorry that you are so mean to yourself. And I don't mean that as a reflection of who you are, because I know, like me, you don't want to be.
See, I feel sorry for people that have that going on because I've made stupid mistakes. I've made stupid mistakes. And I've been mad at myself and I've been sad and all that shit. But I've never been in a place where I like hated myself or like I've been mad at myself for making a decision, but it usually doesn't last long where I usually pretty quickly move on to what am I going to do to solve this problem? Looking at it all encompassing and trying to, I don't know what I do really. It's hard for me to get in that mindset right now, but I don't stay stuck in a place of, I don't know if I ever have gotten to a place where I hate myself. I could be disappointed in myself, angry at myself, mad for something that I did, but I know that usually I'm so mad because I know that's not who I really am or who I want to be. It's like, okay, 80 to 90% of the time, I do what I want to do, the stuff that I'm proud of, and then the 10% where I did stuff that I wasn't proud of, I could say, okay, I hate that. I'm mad at myself that I did that, but I don't hate myself because look at the 90%, and I want that to be even more. And so I get mad, I get angry, I make mistakes, I get mad at myself. I don't know if I've ever been in a place where I hated myself, and I've never been in a place where I stayed angry at myself too long because I know that's not who overall I am majority and who I want to be. So I feel sympathy and sad for people that get in a place where they can hate themselves. So let's watch a little more of this. I'll give a little more opinion and then we'll kind of move on. But yeah, I don't think the fame. I don't think that caused it because he said earlier he's been feeling this for a while. But I don't think the fame and all the weight of the pressure to keep this podcast up and the pressure to be a good comedian and the pressure to interview Trump and Vance. I don't know if that affected him, but could be. We don't know what's affecting him, but I don't think any of these things that I'm mentioning are helping. So,
You don't want to be.
speaking of what I spoke of earlier, the whole God thing, I wonder if Theo has. It almost sounds like cheesy and too simple, but I wonder if he's reached out to God, and it's almost special if you think of your own way to do it. It makes it more powerful and more original from what I think. But I would, because everyone has to say, oh, you should talk to God and say this or ask for this or do this. I think everyone should come up with their own thing as long as it's positive to talk to him or ask him or whatever. But I would encourage Theo. And it's better when it's subtle and you move it on. The longer you focus on it, the more people think you're getting preachy or you're trying to pressure them or you're trying to act like their dad or their mom and tell them what to do. But I would a little tip for him would be like, hey, have you talked to God about it? That could maybe help. And like, I'm just talking from my own experience when that has been tossed at me often, even though you should like be open to it. I haven't been as much until, especially in the very beginning, been more and more and more. But I have a friend that I've become close with that's been a positive influence in that way on me. And yeah, it's just interesting how that whole thing. Anyway, I don't want to get all off on that again. But yeah, I'd be interested to know if Theo has a relationship with God or if he would be open to starting one. Anyway.
While honesty about these subjects has earned him admiration, it has also made fans acutely sensitive to signs that he may be struggling in real time. This was not the first recent incident that raised eyebrows. Earlier in the year, Theo was involved in an altercation in Nashville that led to a misdemeanor assault complaint after he was filmed grabbing another man by the throat. Although not career-ending, the episode added fuel to speculation about his mental and emotional state. It painted a picture of a comedian under pressure, with behavior increasingly at odds with the easygoing, self-deprecating persona that made him popular.
Hey, I'm the fan who got choked out by Theo Von. Let me tell you what actually happened. So I'm not just a random fan. I live in Nashville. I play music full time. That's me. All of this happened on May 2nd. You can see right there. Which also happened to be my birthday. I had my gig from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock. My friends brought me cake. They brought me balloons. The bar brought me sparklers. So when Theo walked in, he didn't have any security with him. So people were walking up to him, talking to him, taking photos. I finished my show. This was like 10:18. Nobody in my party had talked to him yet, not even me. We thought it would be a funny video idea to get him and me popping my birthday balloons together because he's a comedian. I was trying to be courteous because he was talking to somebody at the moment. So in this next video, you can actually hear me say, I don't want to interrupt their conversation. I was waiting my turn to talk to him. Everybody was all just standing around, having fun, having a good time. This is where the video that you've seen starts. I went up and I said, will you pop some balloons with me? He turned away and looked like I said something offensive. I leaned in and said, hey man, I'm a fan, I'm just messing with you. He turned back around and then aggressively got in my face right there. Huh. I was confused, so you can see me lean in and say, what? And that's when he grabbed my throat and shoved me back. Damn. What happened was a completely uncalled for reaction, especially when you consider the facts that nobody in my party had been badgering him for hours. We hadn't even talked to him. This was a 14-second interaction, and that was it. As an entertainer in downtown Nashville, I get being overwhelmed by crowds and people coming up to you all the time. At the end of my shift, at least I get to unplug and go home. And I feel for Theo where he probably can't get away from that a lot more easily than I can.
Theo also made
I
headlines
wonder what happened with that. Like what his side of the story was. Huh.
when he stepped away from the King and the Sting podcast, a move many believed would improve his mental health. The show, while successful, had become a strain on him, and fans hoped that leaving it behind would allow him to focus on his well-being. Yet the Beacon Theater performance suggests that the challenges persist, raising questions about how sustainable his current path is and whether he is receiving the support he needs.
In fact, they say that exercise is 1.5 times more effective than SSRIs for curing depression.
Oh, in a heartbeat, man. If I take because I take SSRIs and I do exercise. If I take my SSRI, I don't feel really anything. I just feel like, oh, I took my SSRI. But if I go for a run, like even today, I had to go run a couple miles. I was like, I know I'm going to be on here. I want to have I want to like just be in like I want to have my good energy going. I'm going to go for a run, you know, and so. Yeah, I think I know that it makes me feel better if I do something athletic, you know?
What is the reason why you take the SSRIs?
I think because when I'm off of them, something feels wrong. I feel it's a battle.
A battle.
It's a battle to, even if I do running and I do fitness, right? It's a battle to keep myself even. So instead of dealing with that at a more intense level, I choose to take them because it just makes it a little bit easier. I don't think it's taking the easy way out though, because if I don't take them and I still do all those things, it's hard for me to get to a good baseline.
What do you mean by wrong? Like when you say you feel wrong, what does it feel like?
I feel like at any moment, kind of my feelings can just drop off into like a really surprised low.
The fallout from the taping reflects a divided audience. Some treated the night simply as a professional failure, a comedian bombing at the worst possible moment in front of Netflix cameras. Others, more aware of Theo's history, saw it as a cry for help. Still others combined disappointment with compassion, lamenting both the weak performance and the troubling glimpse into his state of mind.
Yeah, like, man, people really are struggling.
Yeah.
Do you think that one of the reasons a lot of young men are struggling is because just like the way we've changed from being like really like limbic, like things we need to do, hunt, get milk, get honey, get, you know, meat, you know, attack stuff, do stuff, be there, connected to the earth. And then now we've become this separate sort of just, it's almost like we're just like a strong thing.
We're house cats.
Yeah, we're like little worms now. No one gets out, no one sweats, no one friggin' busts their knuckles, no one runs anymore. No one wants to lift anything heavy. I mean, there's exceptions, but I'm talking by and large, we're all just becoming little worms. I mean, god dang. Bitch! I never thought coming up as a teenager and in my young 20s that I would be one of the more disagreeable and masculine men that I see around here. It's fucking actually kind of sad.
And contained, yeah.
We're indoor cats now. So
it's fucking scary.
It is
fuck's
difficult
going on,
to know
bitch?
how much weight to put on viral clips and
I feel bad for Theo, man. I wish I could fucking give him a hug and smoke a fat bowl with him. But damn, yeah, it's unfortunate because he seems, I think everyone that's a fan of him, well, obviously, but I think a lot of people, the majority of people would say they watch a little bit of him and they say, oh, that guy seems like a kind soul. He seems like a good guy. He seems like cool to hang out with. And I think we all kind of feel that about him for the most part. So it's unfortunate he choked that guy. I don't know what was with that. You know, everyone makes mistakes, like I said earlier, but it's unfortunate, you know. What I was thinking in the middle of this video is I think he should just retire from stand-up. Do the podcast if you want to, but you're a millionaire, dude. You can just retire and do nothing. And if I was Theo, I would like retire and find like a part-time comedian job. Like find an up-and-coming comedian, or maybe someone that's like in between up-and-coming and made it, someone like on the route up that you jive with and that you have a similar comedy style with, and be like a advisor to them, and they can be coming up with jokes and they can run stuff by you and you can say, oh, that needs a little something, or I like that, or you can give them ideas. That way you're still in the comedy scene, you're still getting to exercise that comedy muscle, but the pressure is not on you to perform on stage and to come up with all this new material and da 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 da. You can be the old advisor and the guy who's just like the just like a, what am I looking for? Like a, fuck, it's on the tip of my tongue. Fuck. Like a metronome. That's not a good example, really, but like you're just like a baseline. Like you could be a, you know, like when Kevin Hart was on the come up, I found out that he had like a group of writers, and I never really knew that about comedians, but it makes sense. They have writers so that they come up with some jokes, or if Kevin Hart comes up with a joke that needs a little tweaking, they can help him, and stuff like that. So I think it would be good if Theo was like a writer or kind of like a behind the scenes for like a other comedian. I think he would enjoy that. It would take a lot of the pressure off of him. He would get to make a little money and be in the comedy scene and have impact, but be behind the scenes and not as much pressure. But I think that would be like a little change. I think it's overall other stuff, but feel sorry for him. Obviously, I don't know the whole story. I don't know his whole life, but hope he figures it out, and we'll see if anything else happens. But yeah, I just think he's a millionaire, so he doesn't have to work. And I would just advise he takes a break. But it's interesting. Y'all let me know what y'all thought led to this crash out. If it was just kind of seems to be like a more ongoing thing with Theo, but I don't know if it's more or less coming to a head. It seems kind of like it, but I hope he gets over the hill and kind of is able to find something that gives him peace of mind. You know what I mean? And anyway, I'm not covering this with much joy because he's a good person. I think overall, I get good vibes from him. I think most people do, and wish him well. So let's move on to the next story where it can be a little bit more, or a little less solemn and a little more typical of me, where I can talk shit, make jokes, and rip somebody a new asshole. No did. My uncle pointed this out to me a couple months ago. Let's see if he responded. No, let's see. Hold on. Let me respond to something real quick. Anyway, my uncle had told me about this a month or two ago, or maybe 3, about you being able to buy ice equipment or gear. So I know that's a huge thing right now. And this is, I don't know what this is. It says Feds Apparel. I don't know if this is a federal website. Here's the thing. This website should not exist. The federal government should shut this shit down. And if this looks like an official government website, it says U.S. Department of Homeland Security, this bitch would be shut down, I would assume, if this was fake. Here we have this, though. Homeland Security, all this shit. Now look at what you can buy. This is the same shit that the ICE agents wear. Some of them, not all of them. Some of them, though. You should not be able to buy something that says Police ICE and has an ICE logo badge on it. Why can you buy this? You can basically impersonate an ICE officer. This is insane. This is insane. I could literally wear this for fucking Halloween. ICE police. ICE. If I walk around with this in a mask, how do I look any different than an ICE person? This has become a huge thing. It's been brought up by many people. They don't have to self-identify. I think now, recently, they are supposed to, but for a while they didn't. They wear masks. They don't have, some of them have badges, some of them don't. But the fact that I can buy this ICE gear and basically look just like an ICE agent is fucked. Why the fuck are they selling this? There should not be anything that you buy that looks just like what the police have. And I guess it's because a lot of the ICE agents are undercover and they don't have to wear official uniforms, so they can wear merch that a civilian can wear, but that's a problem. I guess, I don't know if the problem is more of they're so lax they can wear civilian clothes and we can wear their merch and they can wear their merch, or if the merch, I think that's the problem. The ICE agents are in civilian clothes. I mean, if you want to wear ICE merch and you're a fucking idiot, go for it. But I think the problem is that the ICE agents are wearing civilian clothes. If you don't have a fucking badge hanging from your neck or on your belt where it's visible, you don't need to be arresting people. Period. End of story. Because you could just be a fucking gang member. Literally, a gang in Austin could all buy a bunch of these things and wear a fucking shiesty and go around in Austin just fucking shit up. And who would know that they're not ICE that day? Now, later on, they'd have an investigation and they'd probably get arrested and whatever the fuck, hopefully. But, that day, they would just get away with whatever the fuck they were getting away with. I mean, this is fucked. I think. I'm not down with this shit. It's fucking retarded. I think that's the bigger issue. Not that we can buy their merch and wear it, because, I mean, if you want to be a loser, go for it. But I think the fact that, they can just wear anything is fucked. So, but anyway, here's your ICE merch. It's gross, bro. Here's another website. This does not look official at all. This is Sally's Cop Shop, where you can buy ICE shit. Now, this doesn't look official, but look, she's selling ICE badges. ICE patch officer uniform style. I guess not a badge, it's a patch. But still, it's a badge patch. This should be illegal to sell. For $6. This item is restricted to ICE officers only. Well, how the fuck? How about they get this from their supervisor or from the top down? How about you don't sell it online? I mean, yeah, get real. ICE police. Why have it for sale and then say this is only for the ICE? Look at this. Item restricted to ICE only. Why are you selling it like it's merch then? This website should not exist. That's crazy. I guess I gotta had a video pulled up of the ICE raids and kind of the drama with that, but I'm sure everyone's aware of that. What I will say is, I think with all this stuff, it's very reactionary. The left will do something crazy, the right will react. The right will do something crazy, the left will react. It's like, it's gotten to a point where it's just completely out of control at this point, but they got all these illegal immigrants and they're making the situation seem worse than it is so that Trump can employ the National Guard and get crazy. It's just like, it's just reactionary. That's the best way I can put it. Like, you know, stuff starts going crazy. The people in the liberal cities don't enforce their laws. And then Trump's like, oh, I'm going to enforce the law. It's like, well, this is getting a little crazy. It's almost like they're working together. They don't enforce the law so that he can get out of control and enact more of his crazy powers and send the troops out. They're like, no, we don't want them. It's like, then why didn't you just enforce the laws in your city? You don't have to be Hitler. You don't have to be a fucking dictator. You don't have to arrest people for stuff you don't like, non-violent stuff. But if people are doing violent crime and masking up and destruction of property, you need to enforce the law, because then I'm not on the side of the back to blue and all that fucking cock shit. We have to have some basic law and order and people not just wilding out and going crazy. So they're letting them wild out. They're letting them go a little crazy. Maybe even in some people in news organizations embellishing the problems. And then that allows Trump to say, okay, y'all are letting shit get out of control. I'm going to now what they would call abusing his power, but it seems like it's justified because of the reasons they give or they've let happen. Problems fester with all these crazy protests and stuff. So it's just like they let shit get crazy. He can do his thing. And then they're like, oh, he's a dictator. And then the craziness is going to step up because they feel like and then his craziness is, it's just like someone has to stop escalating or this is going to be crazy as fuck soon. The more they think Trump is becoming a dictator and abusing his powers, the more they're going to wild out and protest. And then the more he's going to try to abuse his powers to get them in line. It's getting to where you can't fight fire with fire. There you go. Nailed it. That's what's happening, though. They're fighting fire with fire. And, you know, I hope something happens good. But, bro, it's just like a fire hurricane, and I don't think it's going to stop. The thing I will say about the people on the left and the right, they only focus on the negative stuff that the other side does. They don't focus on the good the other side does, and they don't focus on the negative that their side does. So that's a flaw. The people on the left only look at the problems of the right, and the people on the right only look at the problems of the left, and they just hate each other. And it's like, when is the majority of people going to wake up and be done with this low-level, hateful, reactionary, just bullshit? I don't even know what the solution would be. A lot of good discourse. Even that, though, is... there's a lot of noise, so it's hard to know who to listen to that's a good voice. And the good voices, a lot of times, don't get pushed because they're not going to perpetrate the problem. Even though I'm not the best here by any means, channels like this where I talk about solutions and I'm not on either side and I criticize both sides and I talk about positivity with God and stuff, these kind of channels and these kind of messages don't get pushed. Even larger channels that have a substantial thing, it's hard to grow those channels. So they get a little bit of a following and then they cap off because they're not pushed. YouTube doesn't want to push positive. YouTube doesn't want to push solutions. YouTube doesn't want to push more conversations with high intellect. They want to push low-level bullshit. So I think good conversation and dialogue and love and the truth could be good, but even that, the avenues where it's hosted, those avenues like YouTube and etc., they're controlled by the people that are running this place that want negative. So they're not going to push the positive stuff. So good, positive, organic conversations are going to happen, but those don't get the most light on them. And I hope that changes. So, yeah, I think ICE is pretty stupid, especially the way that they're running around lawless. If y'all want to be respected, y'all need to fucking act respectable. So there you go. This is a little. Oh yeah, I do have a little ICE video. Here we go to show how fucked they are.
This morning, an ICE agent in New York relieved of his
At the same time,
current duties.
I don't know what you're supposed to do when a woman's supposed to leave, won't leave, she's just crying, and you know, this guy could have gone in that room and closed the door and just let her cry out in the hallway until she has to leave. He didn't have to push her. You know what I mean?
This morning,
if I was this guy, I would have went in that door, closed the door in her face. Goodbye, ma'am. She'll be gone in 30 minutes.
Agent in New
York. You got it when you're the authority and you're the, I guess is the best word to use, especially in this situation. You have to be. I mean, you don't have to do anything, but it's better in situations for you to remain in control of your emotions and of what's not get emotional, remain in control of what you're doing. And even if someone else is getting erratic and out of control, you staying in control of your emotions and staying sober-minded and being able to act in a logical, rational way is never going to be a bad thing. I was going to say bad deal, but it's never going to be a bad deal, never going to be a bad thing, and is always going to be better for you. Especially if you're in a position of authority where that's expected from you.
Relieved of his current duties after recordings captured this violent incident. The agent pushing this woman into a wall, causing them to fall to the ground. All after her husband.
Look at how many people are videoing instead of helping her. Though we have some kind of another official right here to the right doing nothing. We have like 5 or 6 people all with their. This has been this way for at least 10 years, but we're totally in the age of let me film this instead of actually like maybe getting the hell out of the situation to protect myself, helping the innocent person that I think might need help, or calling for help. I'm just going to video record it like this. And we have multiple people recording.
Husband was detained. The altercation unfolding at an immigration court downtown on Thursday. You can hear the woman pleading with the officer as he yells, "Adios." Moments earlier, the woman clinging onto her husband and 2 small children. One officer seen here grabbing her by the hair to separate them.
Just grab her, put her away.
Officials saying the family was at the courthouse for a routine asylum hearing. ICE now investigating, a spokesperson saying the officer's conduct in this video is unacceptable and beneath the men and women of ICE.
I don't know if there is anything beneath the men and women of ICE.
This as heated protests.
If you're willing to do raids at funerals, at schools, whenever, wherever, no matter the fuck what, unidentified, physical, violent, in a way like you're right no matter what, and it's going to happen right now because I need it no matter what, you don't have couth, you don't have respect, you don't have anything beneath you. I don't want to fucking hear that, okay? If there is something beneath you, y'all want to be masked up. Show us your goddamn face. If you're too fucking scared, fuck yourself. Retire. If you don't want to show your face as a cop or a person of law enforcement and you're not undercover, go fuck yourself. And that's a whole other discussion if we should even agree and undercover and all that kind of stuff. But ICE agents, if you don't want to show your face, go fuck yourself.
Row across the country.
And if you don't want to, I kind of understand that. Don't be a fucking ICE agent. If you don't believe in what you're doing with conviction, don't fucking be an ICE agent. If the government can't afford to protect you, that's also a problem. If we have this many people that are that against it and the government can't protect you and you're worried for your own life and safety that someone's going to come and harass you or do something, that's also a problem. That we can't protect our law enforcement if they're in the right and doing the right thing and going by the laws and the laws aren't corrupt and they're doing what they're supposed to and they're still a subject for harassment, that's a problem. But I think if they were handling this respectfully, if they were not just going any damn time and place and acting like we're in the right no matter the fuck what. We're not going to identify ourselves. They're basically acting like terrorists. If they weren't acting like that, I think there'd be a lot more understanding. Now, would people still be raw about this? Fuck yeah. But there'd be a lot less pushback, a lot less violent pushback, and people would say, you know what? That person was here illegally. It sucks dick, but they did their job. I hate it. I hate that that's the rules. I don't hate that agent for doing their job. I hate that that's what's going on. But because the agents are acting like dicks, because they're having no couth, they're having no, for the most part, having little respect, doing this whenever, wherever, in a way, it's the way they move and the way that they engage is a very much a way of, we're in the right no matter what, fuck off if you don't agree, and fuck you. And I think that's rubbed people the wrong way. It's the same thing when you get stopped by a cop in a traffic stop. If the cop's like nice and understanding, you might be like, fuck, I hate that I'm going 5 over and he can write me a ticket for that. But you know what? It's a lame ass law and it's a lame ass speed limit here. I hate that. I'm not mad at the guy. What the fuck ever. But if the cop's a dick and a loser and a prick and a faggot, you're going to be like, I hate that guy. Fuck that guy, etc. So there's a way to handle it. There's a way to represent. There's a way to do things respectfully where people could say, I hate the law, not the people enforcing it. That's my 2 cents. I understand there needs to be law and order. There's a way to fucking do it. And the way these ICE agents are doing it, not it.
In Iowa, new video showing protesters gathered outside the Neil Smith Federal Building in Des Moines Friday after ICE agents...
See, and I'll talk about both sides. People might want to say, oh, you only criticize Democrats, you only criticize Republicans and all that shit. You only criticize, you know, when I was talking about the Mexican OT thing, all these people were saying, oh, you can't talk about this white boy, you can't talk about our culture. Okay, well, I was talking about that. Now here, a month later, I'm talking about this other stuff. And stuff that most white people might not talk out against or might not want to speak on or be in support of. I'm speaking out against. Fuck the ICE agents. The fuck? I'm not down with that shit. So anybody can get it here if they're on the wrong side.
Agents detained the superintendent of Iowa's largest school district. The Des Moines Public Schools saying in a statement, quote, "We have no confirmed information as to why Dr. Roberts is being detained or the next potential steps. Our priority is to provide a safe, secure, and outstanding education for all students." ICE saying the superintendent was in the country illegally and had a final order of removal. And in Chicago, hundreds of demonstrators trying to...
How is someone able to be a superintendent if they're in the country illegally? And they've over... Like, how do you get that job if you don't have proper paperwork?
Stop federal vehicles like these at an ICE facility entrance. Agents deploying chemical gas and pepper balls to break up the crowd.
This is really what standing up for democracy looks like. It's not always putting on uniforms and going overseas.
That's the thing, too. These people think, oh, this ICE stuff is crazy. It's like a dictator. Trump's being like a dictator, deploying the National Guard and, all that kind of stuff, the military. So they're pushing, they're already crazy, which is why he's doing it, and then they want to push back. It's just reactionary. It's like someone at some way has got to do something to remove themselves from this fucking chain of fuck shit. I don't think it's gonna happen. Wish it would. I think the thing is too, in some of these cities where these protesters are getting out of control, if you would just arrest all the people that are out of control and put them in jail for a week and then let them out, they would be like, well, that fucking blew. I broke the law. There's a difference in you know, and there could be the argument of, oh, these protests need to happen. The ICE people are out of control, like you were saying. They're not doing it in the right way. They're not doing this. We need to protest and push back and show them. And I would just say, I don't know if that's effective. And I don't know what the solution would be. But I think if we're tired of ICE, and let's just take any example. If we have a problem in this country and we don't like it, we need to get together and get organized. Because if you go out there in equal numbers of them, but they have all their equipment and they have the military and they have the system on their side and they have all these weapons and stuff, you're going to lose. If you outnumber them 10 or 20 to 1 or 100 to 1, they are fucked. So if we want to get together and we want to stop shit that's wrong, we need to get organized and not just be chaotic. So I'm not saying anybody needs to do anything crazy. I'm not promoting violence, but I'm saying if we have somebody doing something or a group doing something that we view as unjust, against God and wrong, we need to get together and organize, not just go out there chaotic. And if they're being chaotic and causing chaos, then we're going to be chaotic and chaos. Like I said, you can't fight fire with fire. So if we think ICE is fucked and it's lame and it's retarded, we need to get organized. Okay, you're part of ICE. I'm not serving you at my restaurant. You're part of ICE. I'm not cutting your hair. You're part of ICE. I'm not going to do plumbing at your house. I'm not going to be your electrician. I'm not going to let you bank here. You motherfuckers want to play this game? Okay, you cannot eat at my restaurant. Right? Your kid is the kid of an ICE agent. No one at school is going to be friends with that kid. We're not going to bully the kid. We're not going to hate on him. But no one is going to go to that kid's birthday party. You want to be a fucking prick and like I said, there has to be law and order. But if you're going to do it in a way that's fucked and y'all are out here like a terrorist organization, we can fight back in ways that are peaceful, in ways that are organized, where we don't do anything wrong, but we show we will not stand for this shit. So I'm all for that. That's real peaceful protesting and real shit. You want to see some fucking impact? Let's see that shit happen. And I'm all for that. You want to be a fucking dick? It can get real crooked real quick. And in a peaceful way that is effective. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. Y'all get in the comments and let me know what y'all think right now in the live stream or in the rebroadcast. I'd love to hear what y'all think about that. And let's see, what's the last topic? Oh, yeah, I had some new... Hold on. I had some new stuff come up about... Let's cover this Diddy thing real quick because I wanted to see what Marquette... He had like a real profound thing in the first little few things. I think it was right after this. He has a few real... I thought it was a real good perspective because Diddy got sentenced today. I think it was a real good perspective on kind of what he has to say. And then we'll move on to the last topic, which is kind of some new stuff that came about the Charlie Kirk thing that really seems suspicious. And that's kind of where we'll end it. But let's listen to Saint in the Center talk a little bit about the Diddy results and kind of his perspective on what it made him think, and then we'll move on to the final topic.
Now you're looking at a live picture from outside of the federal courthouse in Manhattan. People are beginning to arrive in the highly anticipated sentencing of
Saint pulled a me on me. He has the volume low.
Diddy Combs.
The disgraced.
By the way, if you're a regular viewer on the channel, hop in the chat, either live chat or comments later on. Let me know what you think of the volume of my channel. When you watch my videos, usually, are you happy with the volume on my mic? Are you happy with the videos I react to's volume? And could the overall volume go up, one or the other? Y'all let me know. My volume, the react videos volumes, or just the master volume. Is it good for y'all, or is it a little quiet and you have to turn YouTube way up? Let me know. I will work on that in the future. And it's something I've worked on in the past, but I always want to try to improve everything. Another thing that's kind of on the horizon is maybe getting some stuff behind me. I know I have the one neon light, but I kind of want to get some more stuff behind me. That way when there's the broader view of the room, it's not just like the blank wall behind me. So definitely always looking to improve this podcast a little bit. And yeah, anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about the volume levels.
Music mogul will soon learn how much more time he's going to be spending behind bars.
How much more time he's going to be behind bars. Now, one thing I'm curious about is he getting credit for time served. That's an important thing.
Oh, he'll get credit for time served.
And it's really a pity that they've held him in bondage for this amount of time because he has a famous face. He can't go anywhere without being recognized, right? So he can't escape. I don't think he's going to try that. He's not about to try to little Dirk his way out of this situation. So that was just a punitive measure, right? But here's the comedy. The comedy is that none of you should be here and I shouldn't be here either. All of us have things in our lives that are far more important than Diddy. The good news is that there is something about this that's important. And what's important about this is that it is an expression of our legal system and how it is unfair. We live in a feminized culture. It's
been that way for at least 15 years, if not more.
Patriarchy, wherein the female does not have to abide by the laws or the dictates of morality or be mature. They are treated as citizens that hold no responsibility but get every privilege. Yes. How is it that he can be convicted of transporting them women that work at night and earn their money on their back, but the
way he said that,
women who are actually doing these dirty deeds, and as well the men, the Skittle guzzlers, they got off scot-free? Your government is a government that collaborates with murderers and killers, and in fact your government, they are murderers, killers. But anyways, how is it that everyone gets off scot-free like they didn't do anything? Strange, very strange. Anyways, let's hear what this panel of very, very emotionless, tasteless individuals reading from a teleprompter have to say.
Expected to speak after already writing a letter to the judge pleading.
Somebody send me her IG. Look up her IG. Send it to me. I'm sliding. Why? I got to get my black girl portfolio up. It's hard.
I'm off this video. Sorry, I was looking up something else too. But the part I liked was he said, and I realized this a long time ago, the red pill came through and just broke down every level of it and reinforced it. But we live in a society that's run by women. We live in a woman's world. So everyone might think that's not true. I think now with the red pill, there's enough evidence. But I said that 10 to 15 years ago, and people thought, the fuck, a woman's world? Like, you're retarded. Thankfully, the red pill came in. I didn't know how to describe it, but I just knew from a bunch of different things. Like, I just had this feeling of like, yeah, this is a woman's world. Like, in certain ways. And I'm glad the red pill has broke down just how, and we all know now. But anyway, he just broke it down once again. Did he get in trouble for transporting prostitutes? Where are the prostitutes that he transported that are not in trouble? And where are the customers that paid to have sex with the prostitutes? Why are they not in trouble? So, you know, they went after the big fish. That's how it happens sometimes. But, you know, why is that? Is the law fair and the law is just and whoever does wrong should get punished? Or, you know, so good point. And that's kind of, I just want to touch on that real quick. This is the last major topic I wanted to touch on. A lot of new things. I'm not like, I'm a fan of the PBD channel. What would I say? I'm not a big fan of PBD, but I'm a big fan of the channel and what he does. So shout out to him. I like the format of the podcast. I'm a fan of the way they run a podcast. Like, what would I say? He does a good job of running this podcast like a news channel. So I give him props to the way it's entertaining. It does bring a lot of news and topics that I want to touch on and stuff that I was wondering about those topics they cover. So the channels run really, really well. Shout out to him. I'm just not maybe a fan of all his viewpoints and maybe a fan of, that's it. Pretty much not a fan of all his viewpoints. But the way he runs the podcast and that, kudos. And I'm a big fan of that. So let's watch this. I'm probably going to watch a good 2/3 of this video, kind of to the point where I was before I went to the beginning right now. But a lot of gems in this video. We'll stop it periodically and give our point of view. And I think this is how we're going to end out the stream. We've been going just about an hour, so that'll be perfect. This will probably bring us to like an hour 30, hour 45. And then we're going to kind of go ahead and get out of here. Y'all let me know. Like I said, don't be afraid to get in the chat or the comments after the fact. Let me know what y'all thought about any of the topics. Even if it's a small little comment, I would appreciate it. Love to hear the interaction and the feedback. So, again, I understand if you don't want to put yourself out there. I know having your privacy in this time is paramount. But would love your input if you have thoughts. So get in the chat if that suits you.
Bro clip you play.
I have stayed away from this topic overall because I feel like there's a lot of dark energy. There's a lot of greasy stuff becoming accomplished like this when the controllers have a big event, they usually get a lot of stuff out of one event. So I've covered this twice on the channel. Really, if I wanted to, I would have covered, like, if this was a normal thing and I was just doing my normal thing, I probably would have covered this like 4 or 5 times and kept, like, every time there was new stuff going back and, like, you're really staying on top of it. But I feel like that's not as necessary, maybe. I feel like people either know or they don't. But I did feel like this one was far enough away. I think it's been about 3 weeks since the assassination that you know, the normal me would have covered it 3 or 4 times in the first 2 weeks, but I've covered it only twice so far. You know, just because I feel like if you know, you know. If you don't, if you do, you do. You don't, you don't. But if you already know about it, you kind of know what's up. If you don't, you're not really gonna be open to hearing maybe things that go against the official story. But there were some new things that were brought up, not just the same things. And because there's so much about it that seems off, there's new details still coming out that are a little weird, or maybe these things happen, but they're being covered now. So plenty of weird stuff coming out about this. I think I've babbled long enough, but I think too, I kind of want to let the dust settle. And I did that with both of my prior videos. I did the first video like a day or two after, and then I did the second video like maybe 3 or 4 days after that. So I've kind of with this one wanted to let the dust settle at each stage and kind of see what other people are saying, see what all kind of evidence is out, and seeing if it's worth covering or if it's just like static and noise pollution. So I felt like some new stuff, good enough, was said in this video to cover. And I hope I kind of conveyed my point of what I was trying to say. I feel like I babbled a lot there. But let's get into it, and I'll give my thoughts.
Last week, we showed a clip, maybe on Monday, the Range Day Bro clip. Guy on Manek sends me a message saying, Pat, that Range Day Bro clip you played was great, but a guy just sent me something showing a complete different thing. Fast forward the Range Day Bro clip to about 4 minutes. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And go a little bit more. Okay, back up a little bit, Rob. Back up a little bit, back up a little bit, back up a little bit.
Hey,
Where's this part? Oh, man. Okay, right there. Play it from.
What the he got going?
Then he'll say, I'm not accusing anybody of anything.
Hold on. Is this the right video?
Off a truck and throwing them. Some guys like, what the hell are you doing? There's no way this type of cover up. And the fact that I'm so-and-so with media, I go, I'm just curious.
Yeah, this is, I just.
Right there, you could see his reaction right here. So this is what I.
The angle, keep going.
I guess I wasn't paying attention as much in the very, very beginning of this video. We'll watch this through, and then there's some pretty good stuff from like maybe the 5 to 15 to 20 minute mark that I was really enjoying, and kind of the dialogue and some of the new stuff they were covering. So
keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep
back to
frame until we find it. So that right there, you could see his reaction right here. So this is what I believe to be the first frame capturing his reaction of anything from the bullet. So now here, when you look around his ear, I believe that is
one of
the
those
wire,
earpiece, like you know the wire when you
and
speak.
it's often a transparent type wire. Now let's go ahead one more frame.
That comes up, so it looks like it's
blood now behind him. That is certainly not blood splatter.
Yeah, a lot of people thought in the very first day to 2 to 3, maybe first week, that was blood behind him. That little thin line of whatever kind of behind his head was blood, but now we kind of see that was the wire that he was wearing for his earpiece or what have you.
Like this guy falsely claimed it. And also, where's the blood dripping that he was claiming was dripping on the side of Charlie's head? There is no blood there because there was no entry wound.
I don't think we ever see any blood in any picture, any video, anything of blood coming out of Kirk.
Here,
that's his
one
opinion,
more frame. You could see that it was up in the air. You can see it's still right there, still vertical. And now it's right there. It just flung behind his head, and it's kind of going diagonal right there. And keep your eye right there on that spot. You're going to see it disappear on the next frame. See, It moved up and gone already because of the force of the impact. Now, nowhere here is there any type of entry wound. You would have seen an explosive entry wound by now, just like we did from the views from the front, which shows that there was absolutely 0 shots hitting Charlie from this side. So anybody that tries to show you a video from
pause it right there. Okay, so remember, guys, this is why I love what's going on right now. Because everybody is what? Reacting to whatever they have and reacting to whatever they have. Tom, when you see this...
Yeah, everyone's investigating this one, which is good. It's a little much, but it's good because maybe people are finally waking up. Almost too little too late, but I'll take what I can get.
What do you think about?
Well, I want to see all the perspectives and all the angles. I don't want to...
And I honestly don't know if more people are looking into this or my section of the internet where I see and the people that I relate to and the channels that I watch, they're looking into it. I say, oh, it's getting looked into more than the past. Maybe it's the same 10% that have always looked into this kind of stuff, just being more vocal and us being able to share in our communities and post more videos and etc. So it seems like, oh, more people are looking into this. Maybe the same 10% of the population that always has. But I feel like it's more, and I would hope that it's more, because we need to be able to investigate things even when it's in the face or surrounding a tragedy.
Keep seeing, Charlie and the moment of passing there, but I want to know for sure what's up. And everybody that is a forensic analyst is saying the same thing. They said that does not look like an entry wound on the front of his neck. That does not look like an entry wound. That looks like an exit wound. You have hunters that have talked about this. You have people that are coroners that have talked about this. And so the question is, okay, how did such a cataclysmic wound happen there? And the bullet, Man of Steel, was lodged in there. Okay, is somebody going to do ballistics? So I'm waiting for conclusive data from a real investigation, other than, hey, his DNA was on this firearm. Okay, but had the firearm been fired? And do we have ballistics on the bullet that you said was found in his neck, just below the skin? I want to see all these angles, and I'm glad that one is keeping others in check. But man, that's an exit wound from the front. That's my opinion based on the folks that I'm watching who are experts in these kind of forensics. And so the question is, how do you get that kind of a wound?
Vinny.
I'm with Tom 100%. They're claiming, this is the FBI and everybody, that it was the 30-06. It was not a 30-06. The official narrative is not official. And this guy is just another, and I get 100%, it looks like an earpiece, but from anybody that shot guns and knows about this type of thing, that if it was a 30-06, it would have been a completely, it would have been disgusting. It would have been a lot worse than what you guys saw, number one. Number two, all this footage, just camera phones sucked in and it's blurry. The main footage is the HD camera that was sitting behind Charlie, shooting down, capturing him and the entire crowd.
Why does the FBI not have that fucking footage now?
But somebody from Turning Point grabbed it, was all sneaky with it, put it in a hat, and give it to another guy that ran off.
Isn't that tampering with a fucking crime scene? I mean, what the fuck?
We're supposed to just take their word that this guy handed it off after he looked at it and gave it to the FBI. I'm sorry, I don't believe the official narrative.
You called the school. What happened when you called the school?
I called, and Amanda was with me. She recorded it. I called UVU, and I called to the main desk, and I said, hey, I'm with such and such. I made up a thing, and I said, I'm trying to find out if you guys, because the construction that's happening right now is unbelievable. It doesn't even look like what it is right now, okay? Doesn't make sense. I said, who do I talk to? You guys just had, and I apologize, you guys had the biggest assassination since JFK on your campus. Was there scheduled construction on the exact site where this happened? Can you comment on that? He goes, let me direct you to the right place. Your conversations, your typing.
I would love to see that recording that his wife or whoever Amanda is, I would love to see that recording.
Sends me to like maintenance or something like that. And it's a female that picks up. And I go, hey, I'm so-and-so with media. I go, I'm just curious. Did you guys have construction set up? Whispering, talking to I can't talk to you about that. I go, no, hold on one second. I don't need information about the shooting.
Why?
Or nothing like that. Did you guys have scheduled maintenance? Because I would assume that if it's an assassination at this magnitude, you would leave the crime scene for potential bullets, potential fragments, other things to recreate in the scene. There's stuff in that ceiling, that overhead, Pat, that there's cameras, there's an opening that you could get in there. I'm like, how is this normal? Who made the decision? I can't say anything. Let me give you the information to our VP of Strategic and Communications Management. I called her 3 times. I don't want to say her name. I called 3 times. Nobody picked up, and I left a message. I'm just trying to figure out with this type of magnitude. And you know what's insane? For how many minutes after, not one police officer went there and secured the crime scene. I've watched multiple videos. I've watched aftermath of videos. I saw people coming and stealing hats off a truck and throwing them. Some guy's like, what the hell are you doing? There's no way this type of cover-up. And the fact that when you
That's
called
a fact. That you law enforcement should have shown up and taped the
Why
scene.
didn't they?
And you know what's crazy?
Just like Butler.
Oh, let's get all conspiratorial. But no, why the fuck? Why was there no crime scene? What the fuck's going on, bitch?
They were
Why
there, though.
didn't they?
I don't know, but you know what's crazy, Pat? I saw a cop. One cop basically had his gun drawn while they were bringing Charlie, God rest his soul, to the vehicle. Your job, bro, is to go... This idiot, and by the way, Candace yesterday was talking about this guy, Pat. She knows him. She goes, never has this guy ever been around when we were on tour.
This who? Back up a second and say who we're talking about.
The guy with the camera that was taking the SD card out.
Who stood on the chair.
Who stood? Think about this, guys. It's a crime scene. You're moving the chair that he was shot. There's probably evidence in there if there was, God forbid, a bullet in there. He's climbing up there, moving everything, and nobody's saying anything? Common sense 101. You're touching the crime scene. That's the main event. That camera has everything. Okay, and I'm sorry. People are like, who do you trust? Get Israel, get all that out of there. The way that it was handled and the fact that his friends and everybody else have just moved on and they're worrying about Turning Point does not sit with me well, Pat. And I'm talking about my mom. I'm talking about people from all walks of life are like, something doesn't feel right.
Whose mom?
My mom, my aunt, my cousins, my friends. I'm having messages from people that I haven't talked to in years that are like, I know I watched the show and everything. They go, none of us feel like what we're being told is the truth. Not with Tyler, not with none of it is adding up. The boyfriends disappeared. Now they're trying to say that Tyler didn't even step foot on the campus
so let me ask
that
you
day.
this. What do you think is going to end up happening?
Just like every single time, PBD, they always get away with it. Evil on this sense, they get away with it because we're almost 3 weeks into it, and I know some of her points are a little out there. She's the only one. Nobody from their side is asking questions like this. If you were my friend, Pat, and I died, I would want you to be like, wait a minute, why were you touching shit? Who has the footage? And it doesn't add up.
Yeah.
Tyler doesn't even add up.
Happen, Tom?
So I'm thinking 3 things. Actually more like 2. The first is there are hard facts that dots aren't connecting. Did he fire one shot from up on top? Crowd reaction appears to be a little different. And he really ran off that way with that gun of that size in that jacket or blanket, whatever he had there.
I don't know
He was
about that.
walking peg leg down the street with the gun down the leg of his pants. You know, there's things on the Tyler angle that don't add up. Why is this older gentleman standing up when everybody would be ducking down? You know, I was in a restaurant when a gunshot went off in a bar. One gunshot. Everybody was on the ground. We were all under the tables until a server said, you know, our security guy took the guy outside. Nobody got shot. But I've seen that. So that's one point in my life when I was in college. I heard a gunshot indoors. You're all down. Yep. Why is this old guy standing up waving a hat? So I see little facts like this that just don't seem to add up. Why wasn't there police there taping up the scene? Why are people taking cameras that would be holding footage that would be of great interest to the FBI? Why is the Utah governor coming to the microphone? We got him, and we got the gun. It reminds me, if you read Oswald,
Patsy.
they did the same thing.
Yeah.
They held up the
Iranian
gun,
Everybody took the photos?
and then they talked about Oswald, and a day later they killed Oswald.
Yeah, weird.
Brandon, what do you think happened? What do you think's going
So
on?
these facts bother me. There's my headline, Pat. The
So-
facts
I got
that
it.
we can have
Brandon, what do you
bother
think?
me.
So the only thing I could say for certain is that we're clearly not being told everything that the FBI knows. We're not being told everything the hospital knows. We're not being told everything Turning Point knows. And that was one of the things I was most excited about for this administration was the notion of having a transparent FBI for the first time where, you know, we know the
Trump's gonna get in there. Nobody's gonna fucking lie to you. If you believe that, fuck. What do you do? Like, oh, how can you believe that? Oh, yeah, Trump's going to get in there. He's going to clean out the swamp. It's going to be transparent. Can we just put that to bed for once and for all? Please. If you support Trump or if you have voted for him, please just give that up. I would, in fact, challenge anyone that supports Trump to a debate. Why the fuck do you support Trump? I mean, no one wants to debate me, but if you do, let's get it on. I would love to debate someone on why you support Trump. There's too much. It's too much. It's beyond. You know, like, no.
Games they play for, like, with the JFK stuff, with the Butler, Pennsylvania stuff, and even the Epstein stuff. But, you know, we're not getting that. And you would think that somebody like Kirk, who was almost the most responsible person for getting Trump elected, like Trump could be in jail if it wasn't for Charlie Kirk with what the Democrats wanted to do for him. You would think that he would have come down with more vengeance and more curiosity about what happened to Kirk and spoke about that more. So I'm surprised to see that from Trump's end, that he's not more curious about what happened to Kirk. I'm surprised that Kash Patel's not being more transparent and forceful to find out what happened. And not only that, they're withholding stuff from us in addition to not being transparent about it. So I don't think there's enough to say for certain who might have done it, but I can say for certain that we don't know everything they know, and they're like they're forcing us to come up with these theories and alternate opinions because they're deceptive.
How long are you willing to be patient? Like, actually,
we're done
Hanlon's
being patient.
razor. Okay,
we're done being patient.
Okay.
Achman?
Hanlon's razor.
What's that one?
Hanlon's razor, if you pull it up, Rob, I'll read it. Hanlon's razor is
never attribute to malice.
Never attribute to malice that which is adequately explained by stupidity, Tom, or
a mistake.
Or a mistake. So it suggests that negative events or poor actions are more often the result of ignorance, incompetence, carelessness, or other non-malicious factors than intentional evil or malice. Let's take this as innocent until proven guilty perspective real quick.
Mm-hmm.
None of this stuff makes sense. Bullet goes in here, shouldn't be an explosion. Bullet goes in here, it comes out because the damage doesn't go in like that. The damage comes out. So I'm with you. I'm on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
That coming out looks like it didn't come this way because at first we thought it was blood squirting. It's not blood squirting.
Here's the thing I brought up to my brother when I was talking to him about this. Okay, there's a bullet, right? It goes through Kirk. If it goes through him front ways, like they said, what did it hit behind him? Where is the hole in the turning point tent? Or if there was anyone standing behind him, no one was hit. Nothing was hit behind him. There was no hole in the tent. There's no trailer behind him that got hit. There's no person behind him that got hit. There's nothing behind him that got hit by the bullet. Or if he really got shot from the side or from the back, where did the bullet go after it went through him? We hear nothing about that. What did the bullet hit after him? It just went into him and then disappeared? Bullshit. Where's the fucking blood splatter? There's so much. This stinks to high fucking heavens.
It was actually things. So that's good that we're seeing that. The guy standing up automatically and starts walking towards the area being shot is the same guy that was there on 9/11. And then the guy putting the chip in the hat and walking, all this stuff, I'm with it. But to me, I guess the question I'm asking is, how long, imagine you're them. You are Cash. You're doing the investigation. How long should you have to get to the bottom of this? I guess that's the part that we don't know. And what is the protocol? What are you supposed to go through? What's supposed to be the process? How many people are you interviewing? How many people are you supposed to be talking to? You know, the fact that you're seeing the place being fixed up, and that's where the shooting was, and
that
you get
stinks to high heavens. You would think if someone that big was shot, they would push the construction back for 6 fucking months if they had to. But they're doing construction right now? That is wild.
Have they made an announcement why they did the construction?
Absolutely not.
It's not just
Has the school made
it's
any
changed.
I totally get it.
No
Rob,
autopsy.
is there any announcement by the university why they've done that?
No, I took a look this morning. I could not find a single news article, nothing about any type of construction that was being planned
Can
either.
you send me, is that clip on Twitter?
I have her number
Is
again.
that is that number?
Yes.
Pat, should I call her again?
There's no autopsy, right?
What is the?
I'm gonna call her name is Ellen. I could call them right now.
Call them right now.
Okay. I love this.
Call them right now. This is what? This is the university. Rob, can we
UVU.
call and you just
Hang on 1 second.
hang? What I'm trying to find out is,
I'm doing it.
all we want to know is one thing: have you made the announcement of?
Utah is a one-party consent state, so you're good.
So I could do this?
But Florida's two-party.
So you can't do that. You can't do that.
Well, but this is
So-
all I've been getting. Nobody picks up the
I know. You can't do that.
okay.
So
God
what,
dang
what,
it.
what I want to do is I'm going to ask the question to see if they've made the announcement. You don't just fix up the place that got shot up and not make an announcement about it. So play as if you're on the inside. What's your argument? Don't play the devil's advocate. Play the opposite of devil's advocate, which is, what do you call the opposite of devil's advocate?
Just the devil's advocate for the other side.
What is the antonym of devil's advocate? How do you
God's advocate.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I'm
because,
saying? Like
one
how do
being the
you-
opposite, the
play
opposite opinion.
Like they're doing everything truthfully.
Okay.
What's your argument? You're on Cash's team. Give that argument.
On Cash's team, it's like
I like that he proposed that because it shows. I just like that because you rarely never hear that. We're always conspiracy. Like, what's the other thing? Like, I like this exercise.
Well, I mean, the shooter.
Well, you would say that it would be because they don't want to give evidence away that would be pertinent to know on the FBI side. But Cash is the one that came out and said, "Hey, we got him," before they even had him. So
Brilliant point by this guest, whoever this is, by the way. Yeah, if they were gonna keep everything on hush and try to do a full investigation without stuff getting out and without having to waste time talking to the press and without leaking stuff and all that kind of stuff, you wouldn't come out the first day like, "We got him," when they don't got him. Did you make fucking sure? You fucking retard. Like,
that contradicts the notion of them trying to withhold things from the public.
Yeah, saying that you have a shooter that fast before you actually had the shooter doesn't add any credibility to you, which you've already lost the
But
credibility.
remember, you're not doing
these
it.
are the same people that are running ICE, by the way. We got him. You can trust us. Someone of Charlie Kirk's thing, they stole the camera, or they stole the tape that has the recording, the most valuable recording of the whole thing. Yeah, we don't care about that, but we're the ones in charge of ICE. You can trust us. You can trust us.
Let's do it for a second.
We've never fucked you over.
You're the spokesperson for them, and you truly know everything they know. Okay? Speak on their behalf. What do you say?
Hey, I respect the public's curiosity here. It's a horrible thing that happened to a very public figure. This is an active investigation. There are multiple angles that are being pursued here, and we have to pursue those and complete the investigation without tipping off people or without...
But as the guest already said, they fucked that when they said, "We got him," and they apprehended, I think, at least one, if not two people before they apprehended this Tyler guy that they have, and they're sure is the one now. But they apprehended one old guy, if not another second person. I think they apprehended two wrong people the first day. Like, yeah, we got him. It's like, no, you fucking don't. You didn't even make sure. Like, that's like when they came out with the COVID vaccine. Like, yeah, it's the COVID vaccine. It's going to work. It's like, no, bitch. No. Like, yeah, we got him. It's like, it hasn't even been a fucking day. Have you done a fucking investigation? It's like, no.
Framing it through the media, and we can't lose our opportunity to prosecute because certain things are misrepresented in the media. So you need to let us do our work. We're interviewing a lot of people and following a lot of leads. Now I'm stuck. So let's say I'm the press secretary for the FBI. Says, well, so why did you say you have you got him? If there's a second shooter, don't you have to come forward and say you don't got him? So in that case, Pat, it would be hard for me. Now, how do I spin from the inside? So you're saying maybe you don't got him. You're saying you're still investigating him. Either you got him and you're done, FBI, or you're pursuing other leads, still looking into it. Which is it, sir? And you're kind of stuck. But from the inside, that's what I would be saying.
What's up, Rob?
It's interesting. There's some construction information that's been released by the Utah Valley University, but none of it has to do with the building that you guys are mentioning or where Charlie was shot. So they released a student center remodel. There's an article about that. There's also the Scott M. Smith building that they were constructing. There's also the stadium that they're going to be using. So they do issue announcements regarding construction ongoing at the campus. There's
just not the one where he was shot that they're having construction on right the fuck now. It's like, dude, any other time, the most sensible thing was, okay, there was a huge assassination here. We're pushing the construction back at least a month or two. At least.
Nothing written about where Charlie was shot and construction being done there.
Weird. It's so weird.
Here's the problem. The problem is it's hard to make a case for them.
Yeah, but I'm glad you asked that question. I'm glad you went through that exercise because that rarely happens, but it showed even when you do that, especially in this scenario, there's not any good arguments really. And this just stinks to high heavens. That's all I can keep saying. Nothing about this adds up.
That's the problem. It's hard to make a case why it's.
And by the way, it's troubling because these are the people in charge that have all the fucking authority. If they can't be even like something this big looks this bad, it's like, dude, y'all fake this and y'all couldn't cover it up better than this and y'all run everything, we're fucked.
If let's just say the school does have,
I think part of the fact that it was that sloppy though is part of their thing. So if you witness that thing and you don't ask questions, or you see all the inconsistencies, but you don't ask questions or have second thoughts or any of that, you're complicit with it.
Scheduled. You're the FBI. You're the local PD. Guys, you're not touching this for 3 weeks.
Yeah, a week.
Can you look up, Rob, what is the longest a crime scene?
This is kind of where I'll leave it because they start asking more. I watched about maybe 5 more minutes. I didn't watch the last 10, but I got kind of the good part out of it, some of the good chunks, and kind of, able to have some input. So, I don't know. This stinks to high heavens. If you're always believing the system and you never question things, I don't know if this is going to be the one that's going to make you think, wow, oh, fuck, like, I got to start looking into things. But if you know what's up, you probably already know what's up. So, hopefully some good will come out of this and some people will wake up to the system being corrupt and them lying to us. And, oh, dude, I had one more video before I get out of here. I was just going to say, I don't know. Hold on. Give me a second, guys. I don't know if this is going to be the one that wakes up a bunch of people, but I hope it is, Anyway. Let's look at this one last video that kind of relates to the Kirk stuff, and then we'll get out of here. I appreciate all y'all tuning in, though, for sure. Trying to get more consistent with the live streams and kind of be a little bit more on top of the channel and be a little bit more disciplined and that sort of thing. Hold on. Okay. Pull this up for y'all. Oh, y'all can see it. Okay, good. Let me unmute it.
Like Donald Trump's pageants.
Start it over. This is about Erica Kirk. Let's watch this. We'll kind of give our thoughts and we'll close out the stream.
Erica Kirk was introduced to Charlie Kirk through Donald Trump. She had been procured for like Donald Trump's pageants. She won like Miss Arizona or something. She was literally a registered actress and starred in a reality TV show, a romance one at that. He met her on a trip to Israel. Charlie met her on one of these wall humping trips. So the Israeli connections, and then JD
What was
Sharp
she doing
tells
in
me-
Israel?
Well, she was on a pilgrimage.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I just learned JD Sharp, Jason Dick, the founder of Uncensored AI, just told me that her dad, Eric Kirk's dad, is one of the founders or creators of Raytheon Israel Ltd. Raytheon Israel creates the weapon systems and defense systems like the Iron Dome, and soaks up trillions of, collectively trillions of U.S. taxpayer dollars over the course of the last, however many decades, billions of dollars annually.
From what I understand, Erica Kirk's father.
Hold on, let me go. I was trying to get this bigger for y'all. Let me go back and we'll watch this video again. It's a short, but I was trying to get this a little bigger for y'all. Not that it really matters. It's the audio that matters, but hold on. Just for me being able to, for the future, maybe. Let's see. Trying to see. Hold on. Give me a second. Okay. Get something like this. There we go. All right. Let's start this
Erica
over.
Kirk was introduced to Charlie Kirk through Donald Trump. She had been procured for like Donald Trump's pageants. She won like Miss Arizona or something. She was literally like a registered actress and starred in a reality TV show, a romance one at that. He met her on a trip to Israel. Charlie met her on one of these wall humping trips.
Wall humping.
So the Israeli connections, and then JD
What was
Sharp
she doing
tells
in
me-
Israel?
Well, she was on a pilgrimage.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I just learned, JD Sharp, Jason Dick, the founder of Uncensored AI, just told me that her dad, Eric Kirk's dad, is one of the founders or creators of Raytheon Israel.
How do you like that? Erica Kirk's dad is real tied in with Israel.
Raytheon Israel.
Their defense system's Raytheon. What do y'all think about that?
It's the weapon systems and defense systems like the Iron Dome,
right?
And soaks up trillions of, collectively trillions of U.S. taxpayer dollars over the course of the last, however many decades.
What do you have to say about that?
Billions of dollars annually.
From what I understand, Erica Kirk's father formed Raytheon Israel's division and was the former chairperson / president. I believe he's retired now, but he.
I knew there was something off about her, dude. She looks like a freaking demon. Respectfully. Fuck respectfully. Fuck her. Fuck Erica Kirk. I don't give a fuck about her. She looks wild, okay?
Was actively involved in that particular operation.
That's ridiculous.
All of these connections. They had the custody of Charlie Kirk's body in the custody of J.D. Vance aboard some private jet, going to God knows where. And within 24 hours, Erica Kirk is releasing this propaganda video of Charlie Kirk's hand and the rings and the I love you and the crying and the sobbing.
That young man. I forgive him.
She's solidifying the narrative that he's guilty. No matter what about a court appearance, anything else, that resonated with every Christian because they're supposed to be forgiving.
Yeah.
And that just subliminally, subconsciously, or very overtly put, yep, he's guilty, he did it, he's responsible, but Erica forgives him.
Yeah.
And now she's the champion of TPUSA to come rushing in, building all of these other extensions and satellite, different clubs all over the place.
It's so gross.
Well, that's just human nature.
Never let a good, what is the phrase? Never let a good disaster go to waste, or never let a good crisis go to waste.
Trying to build her up to be the next president. They're essentially seeing like, hey, this is a woman that we could set up maybe in 8 to 12 years.
Yeah. Well, they then will be able to just solidify this Judeo-Christian, alliance, and that Israel was great and that Charlie loved the Jews and all these things, while completely disregarding the 5 weeks
before he got killed,
leading up to his death, where he began to actually ask about this and point out this occupation. Erica.
I love how they called it the wall humping. Man, fuck that wall. Oh man. Again, as I said earlier, I have nothing with getting close to God and bettering yourself. But when you're going to act like you own a piece of land, or a piece of land is that important, you're going to kill people over it, get fucked. Well, I think that's the pod for the night, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. I think we kind of got back to normal. Is that? I don't know. I think y'all can see it, but it's bugging the hell out of me. Give me a second. Okay. Yeah, I think it was a pretty good stream, kind of, getting back on a rhythm. I think I did 2 or 3 streams this week. Kind of want to get back in a steady rhythm. I say that every time, and I've been saying it recently, but it rings true. And got a stream out here for y'all tonight. We had a couple different topics. I think probably 5 or 6, but 3 big ones and then kind of some small ones. Yeah. Trying to think if there's anything I want to say before I get up out of here. Look for more stuff on Where There's Smoke Gaming coming soon. I'm probably going to release, not a live stream, but probably a recorded video of me and some of the homies talking about Big Brother and kind of the end of the season and kind of our overall thoughts and kind of chatting about that. And y'all just look for more live streams, trying to get more consistent, and just keep up the good stuff. And hopefully, if I stay consistent, we'll get some more of an audience and we'll lead to some conversations, because I love being here and talking about this stuff. But if there's people in the chat conversating and engaging, I feel like it would be a little better, a little more enjoyable. And but yeah, had a good stream. I think we covered some good topics. We're getting back in the swing of things, and I'll see y'all soon. Y'all don't hesitate to get in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. Yeah, let me know what y'all think of the audio levels. How's my mic? How's the reaction videos volume? And y'all get in the comments and let me know. Y'all comment about anything. And yeah, I think that's it. I'll see y'all next time. Hopefully it won't be too long. I got some Where There's Smoke gaming stuff to edit and upload, and I probably will be live streaming on that channel maybe Sunday. I fell behind on our. I got to figure out where I want to put the rest of the Emerald playthrough, because I want to live stream, because I kind of fell behind to Mr. Joe Games and the Emerald playthrough. I need to do a live stream for me to catch up. I don't know if I want to put that on this channel or if I want to put that on the Where There's Smoke gaming channel. So all my other Pokemon stuff has already been moved over there, but the Emerald stuff is still here. I need to kind of figure out what I'm going to do with that, but I think I've said this once before, but from now on, all gaming stuff will be on Where There's Smoke Gaming. This channel will be only live streams and videos about social topics and the usual, like podcasts, reactions, social topics, and discussions. So all the gaming stuff will be on the other channel. But yeah, appreciate anyone who tuned in, or if you caught the rebroadcast, y'all let me know what y'all thought about any of the topics. Leave a comment, and see y'all soon. I'm LG from Where There's Smoke. I appreciate